I'd also want to hear from Bwana Nyerere. What are some of the FGM efforts that the Anti-FGM Board is having in place now? Because we'll delve further to look at the crime of FGM and the prosecution of FGM from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. So, Bwana Nyerere, perhaps you could weigh in on some of these interventions that are there. Vanessa has shared something very, very traumatizing for her life, because at the age of 9, it means your family has consented. This is a crime that is cultural. That when I come to you, Josephine, an auntie, a guardian, a parent will not come up to the front and say, yes, this was done, because this is our heritage, isn't it? And what exactly is the FGM board doing, some of the efforts, because we've seen they're doing a lot in our country. Bwana Nyerere, perhaps maybe you could weigh in on the same so that we can create awareness on this platform. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. First, I would wish to say that the lady was actually cut at the age of 9. It's very unfortunate. And that shows clearly the trends that we have right now in FGM. Communities have come to realize that FGM is outlawed. It has got its own consequences. That is why they are trying to circumvent around it. And they realize that the reduced age of cutting is one of the emerging trends in the practice of female genital mutilation, alongside the cross-border FGM and also the secrecy, which comes along with the practice. So realize that the communities are now finding alternative ways to cut girls, not as such as an alternative rite of passage, but just because of the cultural aspect that is actually attached to it. So I would wish to say that in terms of developing documents, first, the Anti-FGM Board has come up with relevant documents that can be used by communities to end FGM. So as Anti-FGM Board, we've actually developed the guidelines to community dialogues, whereby communities are supposed to be aware of the consequences of FGM and, if possible, abandon FGM. But you see, this can only happen when there is a process. Communities need to be taken through a process to come and understand and have an introspection whether we actually need FGM in this particular moment or time and era. We've also developed alternative rites of passage, but I also like to remind members that alternative rites of passage depends with the communities. Not all communities which practice FGM need alternative rites of passage. It depends on why they practice FGM. There are some communities which practice FGM because they attach it to religion. Of course, it's not there in the Bible, it's not there in Quran, it's not there in any other religious inclinings. But people just practice it because they found their forefathers and the past generation practicing it. So for those communities which practice FGM because of religion, then you'll agree with me that the ARP might not work so much. So the ARP works from one community to another, depending on why they practice FGM. So you realize that as Anti-FGM Board, we've come up with new strategies that we can use in ending FGM. We are actually becoming more targeted. We are becoming more targeted in a sense that we go to a community or to a particular county and evaluate, why do these people practice FGM? And who are these people that have a lot of say in ending FGM? Like when you talk about, for example, in Kisii County and even in Nyamira, the practice is being perpetuated by professional health health caregivers. They show medicalization as one of the emerging trends in FGM. So we have to engage the health professionals in Kisii and also in Nyamira, so that they are able actually to fight medicalization. Though this particular problem is also coming to other counties like Kajiado and Narok. So for those communities who practice FGM because of culture, mostly, we are also targeting elders. That's why I shared with the members that today we're having a very historic moment in Pokot, whereby elders actually going to denounce FGM. So we are using elders, and also the other day in December, the elders from Samburu are willing to make a declaration and end FGM. In fact, we've slotted for a meeting so that if possible by next month, that is in March, we are supposed to have a forum with them so that they can openly, in fact, they have said that they need to meet the president. So that as they make the declaration, the president must be present. And they are willing to make a declaration to end FGM by 2022. In fact, for them, they'll end, if possible, by next month and make a declaration towards the same. So what we are saying is that we are becoming more targeted. We are using the youth, we are using the media, we are also using women, we are using any other person that can come on board to ensure that we end FGM. And we are doing this using awareness programs, and also using the non-government organizations, partners who are actually coming in hand to help us in this. And more so, we cannot just talk about awareness and sensitization without implementing the law. We have the Prohibition of Female Genital Mutilation Act of 2011. And this particular act can only be implemented fully by using government administration officers, the chiefs, assistant chiefs, the county commissioner, and also the assistant county commissioners. That is why, as Anti-FGM Board, we've come up with what we are calling as the County Anti-FGM Steering Committee across all the 22 hotspot counties. And the chairperson of that particular committee is the county commissioner. So that we are able to use both ends. We are able to use awareness and sensitization, and also we are also implementing the law. So we are calling upon everybody to be able to provide information, to be ready to be witnesses, so that we are able to use both ends, sensitization and also implementation of the law. So we are engaging communities in terms of dialogue, in terms of creating awareness. We are engaging the Ngaos, we are engaging elders, the youth, just the way I've said, so that we are able to do this. And also, I remember I was supposed to talk something about the directive to end FGM by 2022 from the president. In 2019, the president met two members from each and every 22 hotspot counties. We had a religious leader, and we also had an elder. So they met in State House, and there was a declaration, there was a commitment by the elders and religious leaders to end FGM by 2022. So, and this one is a commitment which the president made while delivering a speech in Vancouver, Canada, during the Women's Deliver Conference. So actually, eradication of FGM is a topic which is actually very close to the heart of the president. And that is why right now we have to leverage on that particular highest political declaration by the president to end FGM, so that all of us can rally behind the president and catch up, so that by the end of next year, we're able to say that, yes, this is the march we've done and we've ended FGM, because that one is one of the greatest violations of human rights. And somebody talked about Taita Taveta. You know, by the way, in Taita Taveta, it is worse because they are practicing what we call infant FGM. By within 28 days, the infant is already cut. And we are even told that they even use their fingernails to cut those those babies. So you can imagine now, it's no longer a question of ARP. It's not even a question of now graduating from kids to adult. It's not a question of just doing it for the sake of it, because it used to be done. So that's why I'm saying that ARP, yes, it's being used in many of these communities, but not all of them, because it depends.
All right.
And also it depends with why communities are actually practicing FGM. Thank you.